century, we've had Martin Luther King with different styles, different modes of expression. And we've also had Langston Hughes with yet a different mode of expression of communication. That might be an interesting topic to spend a little time with.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited to read I think that's the middle section, the speeches, because we can't hear Frederick Douglass, but reading his speeches is as close as we can get. And I think that's going to be enlightening to read those sort of all at a go.
Well, we may even have Laura Perkins join in with us from Illinois.
And we appear to be streaming on both Facebook and YouTube right now.
Oh, good. So everything's working. Okay.
Okay.
We will just sit here quietly or not, discuss other things for 6 minutes or so until the meeting is officially started. I guess I was thinking it would take longer. It seemed the first couple of times we did this, it took much longer to get the streaming going.
You've become a pro.
Exactly. We're just, our knowledge has grown.
Patrick and Kathleen, I have a question. Are you drowning in paper and emails and just everything with all the renovation stuff that's going on?
I think even without the renovation stuff that's going on, we're normally drowning.
I was behind on my reading and I was catching up last night and I spent several hours just getting up to like Monday. And then this morning read the packet for today and was like, oh my gosh, who's generating all of this?
Yeah. There's always something that like, oh yeah, we forgot to tell you, or I forgot to tell you.
Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Dorothy.
How's everybody?
Good.
Hot. Sticky.
Oh, I thought you said fraught.
No, I'm not fraught.
So Gerald won't be joining us tonight. He's out of town. Joan may not be able to attend due to illness. And Councilmember Clay will have to leave the meeting by 5:45.
And we're not going to have a presentation.
Yes, that delete item 4.
Okay.
Which for some reason I've left on these couple of months now.
Okay.
And it's Dorothy's last meeting.
Yay!
Well, no.
No, that's not a yay.
Look at all those beautiful faces.
That is not a yay. Okay, so we're just waiting on Aaron and
Latrice will be joining us too. And then we gotta wait for 5:15, I guess, to officially begin.
right. And so we're waiting for Aaron and Latrice, that's all, right?
As far as I know.
Yeah, I think so. Unless Joan is able to join us.
Okay, and maybe Joan. The last I heard from Joan, she said maybe she'd get on, but oh, there she is, but she wasn't going to turn her camera on. Hi, Joan.
Okay. Batteries are really low. Shift positions.
So Kathleen and Cindy, I understand we're going back to 9 a.m. open what, in another week about?
Monday the 14th, yes.
Oh, okay, great. So then that puts us back at regular hours, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
be open 72 hours a week again.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, I show 5:13, so.
Well, Kathleen and Stephen Dallas spent the day sort of measuring out things over at 6900 Delmar today. We have the
Yeah.
keys and we have the Kathleen went over and got those last week, the keys and the alarm code.
Mhm. So there's a lot of masking tape on the floor, you know, marking out where all the shelves are going to go.
Deciding. Everybody asks me, when are things really going to start?
Yeah, soon.
Okay, so it's 5:15, so I'll call the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda would be a roll call. Cindy, would you like to do a roll call?
Sure, let's see who's here. Edmund Acosta,
Here.
Dorothy Davis,
Here.
Joan Greco Cohen.
Here.
Yay. Aaron Ginsberg. Question mark. Gerald is not here. Latrice Johnson.
Here's Aaron.
Oh, there's Aaron.
So Aaron's popping in.
Hi, Aaron. We're taking roll call.
Yes.
Latrice Johnson.
It doesn't seem like Latrice is here yet.
Okay. Helen Nelling.
Here.
And I'm Cindy Zerwis, present.
Okay. Okay. So the next item of business is approval of the minutes. Does anyone have any corrections to the minutes? No?
I would like to make a motion that we accept the minutes.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And now we'll move to Stacy's report as council liaison. He needs to exit the meeting. He's got a hard stop, so let's make sure he gets all the time he needs.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Couple of things to note from the city. As you may be aware, Centennial Commons and the pool have opened. In terms of the pool, we know the weather has not been necessarily conducive to going to the pool, but it is in fact open.
Mhm.
And we are opening it. The Centennial Commons is, all facets of it are open. The hours are limited, so do need to be very transparent about that. The hours are limited. Like many other industries around the country, we have had some difficulty in acquiring staff. So we are continuing the process of staffing up and hope to be to the full strength in terms of hours and amenities and everything else as soon as we can. We're still under some COVID restrictions, as you might imagine, but that, as you know, is lessening each day as well. So we hope to get back to some sense of normalcy, hopefully here in the next, certainly within the next 30 days. Really have folks seeing the Centennial Commons and some of our recreation facilities open as they have been. I know there have been questions about that in the past, so let me pause and make space for any questions folks might have about that.
I have a question. This is a stupid question.
There are no stupid.
That used to be where I went to recycle batteries. Is the Commons still recycling batteries?
It's the Commons that's an excellent question that I don't know the answer to right now.
I shall call them then.
But what I can do is Patrick, we've developed a little bit of a protocol here. I'll email the city manager right now, copy you. And when he responds with an answer, Patrick, if you could forward that on to Helen, excuse me, Director Wall, forward that on to Helen, we can handle it that way.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to suggest an alternative. You can always take them to Batteries Plus.
Yeah, but this is so much more convenient.
Yes, it is.
And just
Also, I'd like to know, Latrice has joined the meeting. Cindy Latrice has joined the meeting.
Thank you. I didn't, that sort of broke up. Thank you. Hello, Latrice.
Hey, how you doing? Bye.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay. Other questions on this part of Stacy's report before he continues?
No, other than personally saying I'm thrilled it's open. I've been there a couple of times and even went and checked out the pool when I was up there 2 days ago. So I'm thrilled it's open.
Yeah, my son's lifeguarding there, and my daughter and my wife are going there every day. So they're all.
Oh, it's great.
And then Councilmember Clay and I had spoken earlier about the True Hotel, and I heard back from Cliff, the head of community development, and they are still waiting for final plan approval, or they haven't gotten the final plan in for approval. The True Hotel people are still in talks with the Hilton people about exactly how they would move forward. So nothing's really happened yet, is my understanding.
Okay. Thank you, Director Wall, for that. We had spoken earlier because we know that's a recurring question, so we wanted to be somewhat proactive in providing answers. We do have development actually happening as we think about the True Hotel in various parts of University City. You're aware, of course, of the markets at Olive, and that is continuing to move forward. We should actually see where the developers is looking to secure the remainder of the residential properties on the 3 main streets, Richard, Orchard, and Elmore. So they're going through that process because they are slated to begin not the massive demolition, but kind of prepping for the demolition. That's to take place actually, I believe, in July. So you'll start to see trucks and other things, but certainly the desire for the developer and the city, although we're not involved in the negotiations, is that all residential areas be vacated that are involved in that. Because even if you're not right next to it, there's going to be trucks, there's going to be dust, there's going to be noise. So we'd love to get everyone kind of situated and squared away before that process begins in earnest. In terms of other developments, on Delmar, we do have some things proposed, so an apartment building and some other things that we're looking to happen on Delmar. So we are seeing development, kind of around the city. Our focus has been on Olive for good reason, but we know that development is also needed in other parts of the city as well, and that seems to be happening too. I don't want to take too much time, so let me open it up to questions if there are any.
We're at Stacy on Delmore, where the development is.
There are 2. So, of course, I'm going to forget the name. It's a building. It's more of a senior center. It was kind of up the street from the Pasta House on Delmar. University. It backs up to the Schnucks.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I know what it is.
Delmar and 170, yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, Delmar 170. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yes,
So
okay.
so that they're looking to do some redevelopment on as well, and that serves that building serves seniors of all different income strata, largely lower income seniors. So there's a lot of benefit to them doing some work to improving that and increasing their capacity. The other is further up Delmar. It is Charlie Deutsch is actually the developer that owns. Why am I forgetting the name of these places? The retirement community that's right there.
You talking about Gateworth?
Yeah, the
Not
Gatesworth. Thank
Gateworth?
you. Thank
Okay.
you. Yes. I don't know why I can't remember these places.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yes. But the Gatesworth, he is looking to add some apartment complexes near there as well. So he's working with the city and then the adjacent neighborhoods on that. So we have those things are not nearly the scope, of course, of Olive 170, but again, kind of trying to move things forward as best we can, or at least the city facilitating that process.
What about the old pasta house? Is there an urgent care going to be moving there? It
Yeah.
was a sign there, then the sign got
Yeah.
removed. Is that
So
so?
the plan is an urgent care, yes.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah,
The sign fell
apparently,
down.
you know, I mean, it met the zoning criteria, so it's fine. I thought it was an interesting location, but apparently these urgent cares are quite popular. So there you go.
Popular for who?
I'm not in the medical field, you know, based on the information that we receive. It is providing an alternative to certainly going to the emergency room. So it's trying to eliminate that, but also you can get a lot faster than you can your doctor often. So if you got something that's you know, you don't want to sleep on it, but it's not a bone protruding through the skin. Your nice middle ground.
Well, they had the sign up that it was coming, and then all of a sudden the sign was removed. You know, like, you know, I saw the sign one time, and then after that the sign was gone. So
as far as I know, it's
Dorothy, the sign fell down. Sign is
alrighty then.
over that sign every morning on my walk. It's just laying on the ground.
It's just laying on the ground. I said, well, maybe they changed their mind, but I know it had to be approved. Just okay. Okay, Helen, thank you.
And the battery, and I'm kind of typing this in real time. The battery recycling takes place at Centennial, correct?
Right.
Okay.
It's you know where you go into the when you walk past the check-in counter, it's on the left. It's just a cardboard box on the left,
Okay.
and then they're in front of a set of doors.
Okay.
Thing ever.
Well, we'll get that answer for you.
Thank you.
But that's all I had. Thank you.
Any other questions for Councilman Clay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we are not having a community member presentation, so we'll move on to the librarian's report.
If you want to move on to the consent agenda, is there anything that anyone would like to pull out of there and to discuss? Okay. Do you want to go ahead and make a motion for accepting the consent agenda?
Yes, yes. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, under discussion items, let's call him Chief. Sorry, I couldn't remember Chief's name. Sent us the auditor's report. That is going to be, let's see, I'll bring this up.
Where are you?
This is the first discussion item, auditor's report.
Mhm.
That is pages 27 to 37 in our packet, with page 35 and 37 having the items that are dealing with the library issues. This is from last year's auditor's report. The board had asked to have this presented to them. The first one was item 6 on page 35 of our packet. As noted in the prior year, the city library has several historical treasures and artworks located in the library building. The library had initiated an appraisal of the artwork and historical treasures. However, the appraisal was not completed. And that was just, we had started talking to a couple of people. Then the pandemic sort of intervened and that fell by the wayside. Helen and I were talking about this as we move forward with packing and storing the items, having that professionally done. Sue Reckhoff from the Historical Society is working with us to have them appraised at the same time as we do that. So we should have that one checked off for next year. The other item was on page 37, and that was, as noted in the prior year regarding the library payroll procedures. In some instances, employees' hours on the time card from the time clock did not match the payroll register. And we also noted no approvals for time worked. We do approve, both Cindy and I do approvals for the time on every employee, every pay period. So I'm not sure what that last part means. The part about the time clock not matching the payroll register, that just is the sort of abandoned Cronus time cards or time clock system. So Cindy, it had some sort of things that were set in there that were in conflict with the way we normally do that. Is that correct?
I think so. And didn't you say that the issue with us not approving things was that there was no physical signature? Like we have on, that's why we're doing the timesheets, so that the manager actually has to sign it.
Okay, so yeah, so we've gone to paper timesheets for all, and I believe this is what the finance department said was okay. All non-exempt staff. So the only people that aren't doing them are exempt full-time staff. And we'll be, yeah, so there were some people that we weren't signing their physical time cards. They didn't have them, but they were using the time clock. So since the time clock is been more or less abandoned, we're just going back to the paper system, and we should have everyone in compliance with that. Any questions from the board on that issue?
Those are both fairly small items from an internal auditor or an external auditor. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
Okay. The next one is and I see now I didn't put that discussion item on the agenda. I apologize.
Yeah.
The next one is the building renovation with the schedule of upcoming meetings. And that's just on page 4 of the packet. So as I think you all know, tomorrow we'll be receiving the bids from interested contractors at 2 p.m. We'll be opening the bids. Bond architects will have their people there. Kathleen and I will be there. I believe a couple of board members will be there. And I just sent out a Zoom link for anyone who wants to attend that remotely. We'll go ahead and try and get that going too. So the bids will be open and we'll start evaluating them. Bond will have sort of a rubric set up for grading them besides just cost. And then Helen and Joan in discussion agreed to call a special meeting next Wednesday, June 16th, to award the contract to the contractor that the board finds, has met their criteria and should be awarded the contract.
And we're going to do that as a hybrid meeting also.
Yes.
So if you want to turn up at the library for that, that's fine. Otherwise, Patrick will send out a Zoom link if you'd like to join us remotely.
Yes, and again, there'll be staff and representatives of bond architects, and I believe some of the interested contractors at that meeting. And then Tuesday, the 22nd at 4 p.m., we'll have a discussion with Bond about getting phase 2 going, the bigger part, the interior project. So,
Question.
And that be a hybrid meeting also.
yes.
Edmund?
For tomorrow's meeting of opening, please remind me, is that a hybrid meeting?
Yes, Bond will be here. Some of the contractors will be here. Kathleen and I will be there in person. I believe a couple of board members, but I've sent out the Zoom link. You can join us by Zoom.
Thank you.
We'll try to, we've asked Bill to hang around to try and get that going in a reasonable manner.
Sounds great.
We'll be able to see what's going on to some extent and hear what's going on.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Another question. Who is the authority for awarding the
For the contract, Bond will give their recommendation, but we'll all have the opportunity to look at the various bids, the qualifications of the bidders, what they're proposing to do, if they're, if they have any, some of the optional things, how they've set that up, and if they're what sort of jobs they've done before, their qualifications, and what their bid is, basically, is what we're going to go on.
Okay, I'm seeing you as actually the ultimate authority. It's your project.
Yeah, and but with Bond's advice and the board certainly right there too.
Very good. Thank you.
So it'll be much like when we chose bond architects. It could come down to, I think that when we chose the architect, it was a split vote, like 4 to 5.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question. If the library is going back to full opening, when would the board go back to meeting in person?
We had discussed. Oh, go ahead, Colin, I'm sorry.
That's a great question. And the plan is not to have, except for this hybrid meeting, to award the bids and to look at upcoming. The first regular, in quotes, board meeting in September will be an in-person board meeting. However, you can always join remotely if you must.
Yeah.
And since you mentioned meetings, we also may have to have a short board meeting over the summer to approve expenditures. So we'll keep you posted, especially if it's like contractor or architects. But we haven't scheduled regular board meetings for July and August as per our usual summer break. Okay?
Clear.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. Anything else on the building reopening or?
Yeah, just on the building reopening, just those 2 points. On Tuesday last week, we had placed a limited number of chairs out in the building. And then on Monday, June 14th, we plan to resume our 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. weekday hours, which will take us up to our regular 72 hours per week.
Do we anticipate different hours once we move to our temporary headquarters?
We'll most probably have to adjust our hours. We don't, that's still sort of up in the air. Initially, it was going to be because of the restrictions on parking with UUM. That's changed, so we might be able to have our full hours while we're there. We'll have to see.
Has there been any more discussion with about using their educational building?
There has been a little bit. I got an email yesterday that said that it's looking good. Cindy, have you heard anything further about that?
I have not. I've been involved in other meetings involved with the closing and the clearing out of the building, and the building will be empty on June 30th.
Oh, wow, okay.
Completely empty. You'll see a dumpster there between June 20th and June 30th.
Okay.
Anything else? Building, opening, construction, renovation? No.
Goodness.
Patrick?
Kathy, anything to report from going over there today? Anything new and unusual from today?
The visit today, no. I feel like we have a good sort of rough draft of a floor plan that, needs more discussion amongst all of us, but yeah, I feel like we've got some working solutions underway, so.
And then Bill wants to discuss with the landlord about maybe running some extra cabling.
Right.
Computers. And then we're going back and forth with Daniel and Henry about insurance for that building. Okay. Any other questions about that?
Okay. Well, let's move on to the action items.
Okay.
Excuse me, one with regard to the librarian's report, I'd like to commend Patrick, staff, friends of the library, the Memorial Day run.
Oh, yeah.
It was a more complex operation than I've ever experienced with the Memorial Day run, and it went off very nicely. So thanks a whole bunch. It was a good day, and whoever arranged for the weather, kudos.
Oh yeah, that was great weather. Yeah, and thank you to Cindy and to Edmund for coming out and helping us. That was great. We had a sort of a fewer volunteers and fewer people working the event because it was smaller, but it did seem to go really well.
Staggered starts.
Yeah.
Just not an easy thing to pull off. So did we have 700 or 800 people?
We had, I think, 544 finishers.
Finishers, okay.
600 and 620 or 630 bibs given out.
Yep. Okay. Great.
And many hungry runners when they finished.
Oh, yeah, that was sort of amazing. Yeah, there was a much longer discussion about granola bars than you would be possible, but
they ate everything available like vultures.
Yeah, lots of granola bars and lots of bottled water, but that was it for which normally is a sponsor village. So hopefully we'll be back up to the regular run next year.
Yep. Oh, lots of strolling runners too. Strollers. They were fun, little babies. So thank you very much.
Edmund, where were you on the course?
I was on number 13, which was one before the last.
Okay. So out on Kingsland?
Yes. Right. It was fun.
Well, thanks again for doing that.
And Edmund, thank you for bringing that up.
Certainly.
Okay. Patrick, shall we talk about adopting the conflict of interest resolution?
Yes. Yes, that's the next item. So this is an action item. Every 2 years, the board needs to either adopt a resolution establishing a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest, or The alternative is each and every board member would have to do a personal financial disclosure statement to the Missouri Ethics Commission. If this is adopted, then the only one that needs to do it is the library director as the chief operating and chief purchasing officer. So this is the conflict of interest resolution. It's in the packet, and that is on page 38 and 39. If the board chooses to adopt it, then we'll need Helen and Cindy to stop by and sign it. And we've got 10 days from the date of adoption to send that into the MEC.
Is there any discussion?
I have a question.
Mhm.
Has an issue ever come up in the past that was a conflict of interest question?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, we've hired some people that would be covered by this on, contracts that were allowed, but they were under $500. So it was not a conflict of interest. We'd hired a
Thank you.
photographer who was a board member's family member, and we just, the price agreed was less than 500, so it wasn't an issue. But I don't recall any issues that have come up.
Thank you.
I would like to make a motion that we accept this or adopt it or whatever the verbiage is.
I second the motion.
Yeah, and this is
Motion has been made.
as a resolution of the board.
Okay.
A resolution of the board has been proposed to adopt the conflict of interest, the biennial conflict of interest resolution. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I believe this requires a roll call.
Roll call.
Oh, yeah, of course, because we're in the
Roll call.
Do we need a roll call?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
virtual meeting, yeah.
Okay.
Edmund Acosta,
Aye.
Dorothy Davis,
Aye.
John Greco Cohen,
Yes,
Aaron Ginsberg,
Yes.
Latrice Johnson.
Aye.
Helen Nelling,
Aye.
and I vote aye also, Cindy Zerwis.
Okay, the resolution is adopted. The next action item is approval of the library budget. Patrick, would you like to speak to the budget? We have seen this budget before. We discussed it, I believe, at our last meeting.
And we discussed it, had
And there was a finance committee meeting also.
Yes. And at that meeting, Dorothy did point out that the line 5460 on the second page of the budget, medical insurance looked low, and she was correct. The adjusted figure is in there now, 110,913, and that's our actual cost for this year. And I think that is the only line that was adjusted other than the contingency line, which we, from which we took the extra necessary funds of the budget balance.
And there is a salary increase in the budget now
Yes.
of
Yes.
3%, correct?
Yes. If the board wants to approve that, or if the board
Yeah.
wants to do it another way.
Does anyone?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the salary increase as stated in the budget.
I'll second that.
Is this call for a roll call, Cindy?
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
anything we're
Or
doing
do
in a
we
virtual
just
meeting.
want to do it within the, can we just approve the entire budget that includes the salary increase?
I think you would need to change the motion to do that technically.
Yes. Dorothy, would you like to revise your motion to just approve the entire budget?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the entire budget.
I'll second that.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the 2021-22 University City Library budget. Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay. Cindy, would you like to do a roll call?
Sure. Edmund Acosta,
Aye.
Dorothy Davis,
Aye.
Joan Greco Cohen,
Aye.
Aaron Ginsberg,
I,
Latrice Johnson,
Oh, Latrice, you're
Oh, she
muted.
looks muted.
There you go.
I, Helen Nelling,
Aye.
and Cindy Zerwas, aye.
Okay, the motion is to accept the next year's budget is approved.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yay. Okay. The next action item is paying our architects. We have a current bill from the architects. Patrick, do you have any discussion on that particular invoice? Is there anything you'd like to call out?
Not really. I mean, it's the agreed upon, contracted price, and they break it down by, their categories. They certainly have been busy the last couple of months, so.
Great. I have a question.
Mhm.
Since the whole process started with the discussion on the renovation, with the pandemic and the interruption in supply chains and the skyrocketing costs of things like steel and lumber, I'm
Mhm.
wondering how much, if there's a contingency clause that would allow for that strange situation.
So the way it's, in their cost estimate, they had a contingency, a 15% contingency, which they hope would cover that. And their idea is that contractors are looking for work. We have a fairly large number of contractors who show up. They're going to bid what they believe it's going to cost, and we hope it's going to fall within, the estimated costs. But we'll be finding out a lot more about that tomorrow.
Right. I'm kind of worried about how much higher the
Yeah.
bids are going to be.
Yeah.
Compared to what they would have been a year ago.
Yes, that is, we may have, in me being cautious about how revenue collection was going to go, I may have, cost us that. And at the same time, they're also, warning of it might take a little longer. It might take longer to get the windows.
That was my other concern.
So we'll hear about that, what the contractors think tomorrow.
Bond did mention the other day that they didn't think that there would be a delay in any of the materials and supplies for the exterior renovations, except perhaps the doors, but that there shouldn't be a problem with the windows or the supplies and stuff for power washing.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't address the phase 2, the interior renovations at all.
We'll hear more about that starting week after next.
22nd. Okay. Excuse me, I have a flying critter in my room.
is it a bird?
It's not a cicada.
No, it's not a cicada. At first I thought it was a wasp, but it's not a wasp either. We do need a motion to approve payment of bonds invoice.
I would like to make a motion to pay the architect in response to this invoice.
Second.
I'll second that.
$116.68.
For that amount,
Oh.
yes.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to pay the bond architect invoice in the amount shown on the invoice. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, Cindy, do your thing.
Okay, Edmund Acosta,
Aye.
Dorothy Davis,
Aye.
Joan Greco Cohen,
Hi.
Aaron Ginsberg,
Aye.
Latrice Johnson,
Aye.
Helen Nelling,
Aye.
Cindy Zerwis, aye.
Okay, the motion to pay Bond Architects the amount of the invoice has been approved. And the next item on the agenda is the president's report. The first thing I would like to say in my report is I would like to thank Dorothy for her service to the library over these past years. We will miss you greatly. And I think we will do as a little more formal thank you in the not so distant future. And I would also like to thank Joan for her great leadership these past couple of years. It's been a pleasure being on a board led by Joan. So thank you, Joan. And I hope I won't have to lean on you too much.
No problem. Lean on me anytime. I'm sorry I didn't turn my camera on.
Well, I hope things are going better for you.
Yeah, well,
I would like to propose some committee chairs. If you don't accept this assignment, I plan on coming to your house late at night. And my proposed committee chair slate is that Aaron Ginsberg chair the Budget and Finance Committee, that Cindy Zerwis chair the Personnel and Policy Committee, that Gerald chair the Building and Grounds Committee, and I'll reach out to him, and that Edmund continue to chair the Long Range Planning Committee. And Patrick is showing you a suggested grid. What I would like to request is that you look at this grid and determine if I certainly hope the chairs will accept their assignment, but for others, determine which committees you wish to be on. If this works for you, that's fine, because we do want to have a chair and 2 committee members for each committee. But understand.
Helen, can I interrupt?
Sure.
Because in Budget and Finance, you have me as the ex officio, and it really should be you.
No, that's last year's. Look, that's 2021.
Yeah.
This is a comparison of going forward. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't see that. Sorry, my bad.
No, that's okay. You'll also notice that there are 2 vacant places we need to replace. Dorothy, regrettably, and Michael Hart has resigned. And I hope that by September we will have 2 new board members. And if you choose your committee assignments now, then the new people will get what's left.
Leftovers.
So I'm going to ask you to think about this, and I'd like by the 15th of July to hear from you as to what committee. No, let's make it, no, that's fine. The 15th of July to hear from you what committee you would like to be assigned. And if I don't hear from you, then I will assign you. I used to be a teacher. I can do this. Okay. The only other thing I was going to say was I was going to remind everybody about these 3 upcoming meetings concerning the construction, the one tomorrow to look at the bids, the one on the 16th to choose a contractor, and the one on the 22nd to look at phase 2. And know that there will be probably one other meeting that we'll call to approve invoices over the summer. And then our in-person meeting will be our September meeting. Okay. That's all I have. Committee reports. Is there a report from the Long Range Planning Committee? Edmund?
No,
Okay.
nothing.
All right. Personnel and policy. I am the outgoing chair, and we have done nothing since we authorized the extension of vacation and sick leave. So we have no report. Gerald's not with us, so nothing from budget and finance.
Yeah, budget.
Aaron?
Gerald asked me to just, point out that the budget and finance committee was happy with the budget, more or less.
Okay. Aaron, do you have anything?
No, everything that I was going to say has been covered, so good.
Okay. All right, well, moving right along, is there any old business?
Well, I have some old business, and
Okay.
I'm just going to take a couple of minutes, and I just want to thank everyone. I've served on the library board for quite some time in, various capacities, but I just want to, number one, thank Patrick for his commitment and dedication as being the library director. This gentleman takes his work home with him. He never leaves it. And he has made the University City Public Library something that, we all should really be proud of. But when I came on board, I remember when we had the no late fees, the library card for children or infants, that they can get a library card at any age. I celebrated and volunteered for the 75th anniversary here at UCD Library. So that was really a great thing, and had a great time working with all of the volunteers to make that happen. So I still have my glass from the 75th. And then I think one of the most important, I think, endeavors that I participated in was getting the tax levy and working on that, getting that passed. It was a lot of work, but it was a great team effort. And we had every poll covered. The numbers was there, and we was just excited that, we got the funds, and this is where we are right now today. So I want to thank Edmund for all of the great lunches I had at the Whitmore House. I'd like to thank Kathleen for all of her dedication and hard work, and the great things that she's done with the library, and Krista, which is now with the Kirkwood Library. So we do forgive her. She moved on and all, but I've seen increased circulation. I've seen our community rallying around the library, and I just think that it was a great time for me to serve. And I work with Joan, and I work with Aaron. Aaron, I can remember when we had our event, you got us food there. We had all of a great time, so it's been a blast, and I'm going to miss everyone, but I'm not gone because, I'm still part of the library. I'm going to participate. I would love to see the outcome of what's going to happen with the renovation, and making sure that, and I know that the library is going to be something that we're all going to be proud of. So I remember us all traveling to all of the different libraries and evaluating all of those all over North County, South County, and just taking a look. But, and then the summer programs, Kathleen, you do an excellent job in bringing in all of those phenomenal speakers. And I'm coming by tomorrow to get my packet because I've been really busy. So I know you guys have said, come pick it up. So I can't wait until June 23rd. So I think that's going to be a great discussion. But one of my favorites was when you brought on Gerald Early from Washington University. And that was really our last one. I think that was in 2019. Was that correct? The one we had in 2019, was it Gerald Early?
Yeah, that would have been the Ralph Ellison Invisible Man year.
The Invisible Man, right. So I really enjoyed that. So, but I just wanted to say, Helen, I know you're going to do a good job. Everybody that's still on board, Cindy, the secretary that's always kept us in check, made sure our minutes was in place, and you do an excellent job. But it's, you hate to call names because you're going to miss someone, but Patrick, you have a phenomenal staff, but you all have a phenomenal director. So in closing, I wish everybody well. I've served, and I'm still in U City, so I'm not going anywhere. So call me if you need me. And unfortunately, I couldn't participate with the Memorial Day run.
You can always do that.
Yeah, so I missed that, and but I had made a previous commitment because I've never missed it. I missed it. Well, we missed it last year in 20. For 2020.
There was no wrong. But Dorothy, we can't let you go without thanking you for what seemed like I thought a minor request when you agreed to serve on the TIF commission, and that turned out to be such a giant thing for you. So thank you so much for doing that.
Well, thank you so much.
And for leading us for that ballot issue. That was phenomenal. Thank you.
Yeah, no, man.
Well, it was truly a team effort. Everybody participated. We had great weather. We couldn't have lost. We had great weather, but everybody knew. All of our our people in the community, all of our, I call it our library family. They know it was time for a change to get our library updated and make some changes in our library. And we realized that. So I'm still on board. I haven't decided whether or not what I'm going to be doing next. I have other committees that I'm on as well. But you guys, Joan has done a fantastic job, and she's passed the baton on to you, Helen. And so don't work them too hard, Helen,
Oh, okay. I'll try not to.
Can I jump in and say something?
Yes.
Can I jump in and say something?
Mm-hmm.
This is the first board I've ever served on, and I think I said this at the last meeting where I was president. But if there was a bar that you set for serving on a board, Dorothy sets that bar. She doesn't just show up at the meetings, say yes or no as needed. She was the absolute driving force for this board to get that tax levy approved, whatever it took. She sent her board members out to the polling sites for voters. So if there's a bar by which every board member should try and strive to reach, Dorothy would be the top of that board. And I'm not just saying that. I mean that sincerely. So Dorothy, we're not going to forget your in-person party. COVID kind of screwed that all up for us, but our hope is within, maybe September's board meeting or around that, we can actually have a meeting where we can toast the work that you did on the board.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. And Patrick, don't work too hard. Don't keep taking your work home with you. Go home to your family and all.
Oh, yeah.
You live right around the corner, but oftentimes you're at the library, in and out. And, we appreciate it, but you also have a family. So I want to leave those words with you as well. You have a family. So the library can become your first priority, but your family. And I know that you juggled both hats, taking your daughter to the doctor or coming back and doing all of that. I actually saw all of that. And so I know that you're committed and dedicated. And I tell you, board members, we're so lucky to have him. Very, very lucky to have him.
Yeah. Dorothy speaks truth.
Dorothy, we love you.
Well, love you. I love you all as well. I'm going to leave the meeting.
No. You have This is very exciting. We have had old business. There is no new business. I have been reading Robert's Rules of Order. And Cindy Bagman will be thrilled to know that I have learned that I can just adjourn the meeting. So
Well, that's
the
good to
meeting
know.
is adjourned.
We don't need a vote for that.
No.
Well, you can
Okay.
tell you're a teacher, so you're
Thank
still
you,
learning.
everybody. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a
Good
good,
night.
and thank you so much for the wonderful comments.
Bye, Dorothy.
Hi, Dorothy.
Goodbye. Take care.
Patrick, I'll be at the meeting in person tomorrow to sign. what-
Oh, great. Yeah, we can do the signing then. And then we'll need, Erin's gone. Talk to her for the one further document we gotta get.
Right.
We need to wait till the end of June. Okay.
I just wanted to make that clear so you don't have to worry
Yeah,
about.
that's, I was gonna throw that in, but everybody's gone, so that's good. Okay,
It's fine. All right. Have a good evening.
you
Good
too.
night.
Good night, Latrice. Good to see you, Latrice.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.